God, I'm so awkward. Hi, friends! I am Jenica Hill, and welcome to, or welcome back, thank you for being here, to my channel, which is all about embracing and celebrating your full magical self. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can get notified every Wednesday at 10 a.m. when I post a new video. Thank you. Happy June! It's Pride Month. It's my birth month. I love June. Happy Pride. I've been putting off making this video for a long time because I'm really nervous about making it. Because this is my first Pride and I feel sort of like an imposter. I'm gonna get into that. First, I want to talk about my shirt dress. It's from the Pride section at Target, and I totally copied my friend. He was wearing this tank top, and I was like,
I love your tank top. Where'd you get it?
he was like,
The Pride section at Target.
and I went to the Pride section at Target thinking I was gonna get like my own thing, but this was the only thing I saw that I liked because it was kind of picked over. And I bought it in an XXL, so now I'm wearing it as a dress. And I know the corporatization of Pride is sort of an issue, and it's not sort of an issue. It's an issue. It's a complicated issue, right? Because, you know, companies are using LGBTQIA Pride as a way to make money, and that is gross at times, but also the way I feel about it too is I walk into Target and I see a Pride section, and that makes me really happy and feel really empowered. And when I was a kid, I would have never seen anything like that, so it feels cool, but it's complicated. But I will say that while I was in the Pride section, there was a father with his child, and they were shopping for something to wear for his child, and I'm not going to use pronouns because I don't know what the child's pronouns are, but this father was helping the kid pick something out, and they were joking about how there was only anything left for infants and adults and nothing kid-sized and nothing that was like good for this person's personality. And, you know, the dad was just so supportive and just like,
Let's get you your stuff. And like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?
and it was just, it's like, what a beautiful moment to be witnessing. And so I have to thank Target for that. And, you know, corporations could come out against LGBTQIA folks, and it's better to be selling merchandise, I suppose, than to be coming out against it. Now, of course, we don't want to support any companies that are selling merch and then behind the scenes really not advocating. So it's a whole that could be a whole video on its own, and I don't know enough about it to do that right now. So let's move on. Like I said, this is my first Pride as an out bisexual person, identifying as bisexual, and I have been having a lot of feelings of being an imposter. Okay, so this is just my experience, first of all, that I'm sharing. So I'm not trying to put my experience on anybody, and I'm just sharing in case other people might be feeling this way, or in case me sharing could, I don't know, help the conversation. But I think I came out as bisexual so late in life. I'm already married to a cis straight man, so I'm in a heterosexual appearing relationship, right? But I am bisexual, and since I just came out, it feels really new for me to be like out and proud. And because I can pass as straight, that has historically, even when I knew I was bi, it was a way for me to be like,
Yay, yay, Pride, I'm an ally.
but kind of hide behind allyship and be able to pass and not have anybody ask me questions. You know, my appearance is not a threat to people in the way that a trans person, especially a person of color who's trans, or people who are gay and in gay relationships and in lesbian relationships and are out and about, and their presence can be dangerous for them and is a threat to people for some fucked up reason. That's not true for me. So me celebrating pride is like me putting myself out there in a completely new way, and it's scary. Also, I think when you're bisexual, right, it's scary on both sides of things because it's not like gay or straight in terms of sexual identity or orientation. And so, you don't feel gay enough, but you don't feel straight enough. And so, celebrating pride among straight people is like,
I don't fit in with you.
and then celebrating pride among gay and lesbian people is like,
I haven't dealt with the same struggles as you in the same way. And I spent 27 years of, well, almost 30 years of my life hiding behind that.
what does that mean, right? And it's very complicated. It's complicated. And I just finished watching Pride on Hulu. It's an FX show, but it's on Hulu right now. I'll link to it in the description. It was great because I think for me, learning about the history of Pride is really important because right now, we're celebrating Pride, but the celebration comes from a history of struggle and protest and fight and violence and hate, and it's hate against LGBTQIA folks, and it's intersectional. It affects BIPOC folks and people of color on a massive scale differently than white folks, and I'm white. So I wanted to learn, and I'm also cisgender, and trans folks are dealing with so much backlash and hate right now, and we need to keep fighting for them. Anyway, it's very, very complex, and I just finished watching that series, and I was like, oh, the only bisexual representation really was Margaret Cho. And they made one comment about how the word bi wasn't put into the march. I think it was the queer liberation movement. I could be wrong. The term wasn't put in until like the 90s, I think. And so there were a couple mentions of bisexuality, but not much else, which I understand because at the forefront of Pride has often been gay and lesbian folks and trans folks, and talking about intersectionality and Pride and the queer liberation movement comes from the civil rights movement, and they work together. There's a whole lot of stuff involved. Anyway, go watch the documentary. I feel complicated about it all, is what I'm saying. And so if you feel like an imposter because maybe you just came out, or maybe you're bisexual and you're also in a heterosexual appearing relationship and you feel kind of invisible, then you're not alone and you're not an imposter. You're part of Pride. I feel like the internal struggle that I've dealt with to come out or not, to like make this known or not, because I also am like, well, how does my partner feel about me celebrating Pride? Is that weird for him? Like, I want to be respectful of him, but he's so supportive. And anyway, there's a lot to it, and we should talk. I decided I'm going to celebrate Pride, and obviously I have this channel, so of course I'm going to talk about Pride on this channel because visibility is so important. And even if, as someone who's bisexual and can kind of hide, feels like they aren't as accepted in the community celebrating Pride, we exist. And as easy as it might seem to hide behind straight appearingness, it's also very painful for people to be hiding that from the world and not feel like they can step into their full self and their true self. So, this is how I'm celebrating Pride this year. Other than watching Pride on Hulu, I'm gonna watch a bunch of other queer content, and I'm so excited. I saw a show in my search because you know how all the platforms have special Pride content out right now, and you can just look through it. There's a show called The Bisexual or something, and I was like,
What? I'm so excited.
so I'm gonna watch that. just kind of like ruminate in all of it. Since I didn't come out until so late in life, I didn't really allow myself to explore all of it, right? So I'm just excited to do that more. I bought this shirt. I'm probably not going to buy a whole lot of swag because, again, the corporate stuff is sort of problematic. I bought this water bottle last year from REI. It's Outside with Pride. That was before I came out publicly. Actually, I'm going to take a sip of water now. But it was sort of my like stealth way to celebrate, and my partner knew that I was bi at the time, so he was like,
Good job.
I'm going to be talking about Pride on this channel, hopefully have a few guests. We all have great conversations through this channel, the comments, through Instagram messages, so let's continue to do that. If there's a parade here in Atlanta, I would like to go. For me, it's very powerful to keep protesting and fighting for issues that are continuing to affect the LGBTQIA community. So, I'm a member of the Human Rights Campaign. I strongly recommend that. And I work a lot with the ACLU when I can, calling senators, trying to get things passed in legislation, trying to keep bad legislation from passing, which there's so much bad legislation that is getting passed, especially affecting trans youth. So these are all the ways that I'm going to be celebrating Pride this month, and I mean, hopefully the rest of my life, not just in June. I also wanted to talk about how you can celebrate Pride if you're nervous or if you're not really out yet, or whatever your situation. I feel like there are lots of ways to celebrate beyond going to Pride parades or going to marches and protests or wearing a really loud Pride outfit or whatever. If you're somebody who maybe is only out to yourself, I know there was someone in a chat I'm in who wore a pair of socks that it was like bisexual Pride socks and wasn't out, but it just felt really empowering to wear the socks. And I know for me, I've got this water bottle, like little tiny things, a little pin maybe that people might not really see, but it makes you feel like you're celebrating, learning about the history of Pride and really delving into it, buying a book about it, watching the shows online, watching more YouTube videos by queer creators, especially people of color. I also think you can really celebrate Pride by changing the conversation in your circle. So I know a lot of people post on social media. I probably will some, even though Instagram and Facebook and everything has been sort of blah for me lately. I haven't really felt called to post a lot on there. Posting about Pride is one thing you can do, educating folks about issues affecting either you or the LGBTQIA community at large. And also in your conversations with individuals, changing the narrative. If you hear somebody use a slur, if you hear somebody perpetuate misconceptions about the community, if you hear someone make a joke that is harmful to someone who's LGBTQIA, you can step in and just educate that person, help change the narrative for them, help them see things maybe differently, if it's safe and if it's possible for you to do that. But the way I see it is the more people who are brave and who stand up and talk about these things, especially people who might easily fall back and not have to fight, right? Because there are people who literally have to fight against bigotry and hate because of the way they look, because of who they love. And if they don't fight, then their lives are in danger. But it's also important for folks like me and maybe other people who pass, right, to fight as well, even though our lives aren't depending on it. Well, in some cases they are, but maybe we're not in danger every day of our lives, and that's privilege. And so let's stand up and not pass and fight, right? And if you're somebody who's like, it's not safe for me to come out, it's not safe for me to celebrate Pride, yeah, yes, totally. Please do what you need to do to stay safe. Please, protect those who you can protect as well. But the way I see it, I don't want to be silent because other people need me to not be silent, right? I am bisexual. I stand behind everyone in the LGBTQIA community. I support everybody in the community. I support intersectionality in the community and rights for all people, all people, all people. Doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your orientation, doesn't matter where you came from, doesn't matter how much money you have, all the things. It doesn't matter. Everybody deserves rights, equal rights under the law, and equal treatment. I'm on a bit of a soapbox right now, but it's because I was scared to make this video and I was like,
oh, this is so vulnerable. It feels so squishy and vulnerable.
but it's so necessary and representation matters. So here I am. I'm here representing if you're bisexual and you're married and you can easily pass in society as not bisexual, I'm here and I'm representing you and I'm saying that let's not pass because we deserve to be visible too and we should be fighting too and let's be here. God, I'm so awkward. Anyway, you are valid. I hope that you are having a wonderful Pride Month so far, and let's keep fighting the good fight, and let's stand up for each other. Let's be here for each other. I am so grateful for this community and all my subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's a great community. Please comment below if you want to add to this conversation, or if I said something that was completely wrong and you want to correct me, that's fine too. Thank you for listening. I'll be back next week, and stay tuned for some more Pride content. I really appreciate you, and as always, please go out and be your full magical self because the world needs you just as you are. Mwah!